Welcome back. I'm Jeff Troxel with the University of Montana, and we're going to do a quick discussion about how to sit with your instrument. There's a lot of different ways that you might approach sitting with a guitar, and the way I'm sitting right now is I'm holding an archtop steel string guitar with a strap, but I'm kind of sitting in what we call classical position. Classical guitarists will often elevate their left foot with a stool or with some other implement to get the head of the guitar up even with their shoulders. And this is one of the optimal ways to sit with an instrument like this. Another thing you could do is, if you want to hold it on the other leg, would be to find a way to elevate the guitar with this other foot up just a little bit, and then drop your shoulder down just to approach the instrument this way. And if you'll notice, the way I'm approaching the guitar right now is very similar to the way I was when I was sitting in this position. It's just that my body was turned a little bit. So I always want the guitar neck to be oriented to my hand in this sort of a 45-degree angle. And that way also, when I stand up, if I have a strap on, the guitar will be in the same position that it's in when I'm sitting, so that I develop a consistency of technique. Okay, in this segment we're going to talk about how to see the fingerboard and to start to learn the notes in the lower strings up the neck. A lot of times in traditional guitar methods, we first learn what we call the open string chords, or the cowboy chords, down here in first position. You know, C, G, D, those chords, and then the notes that go in between those chords, down here with the open strings. But in jazz, we need to be able to get into the flat keys, and the keys that aren't necessarily C, F, and G. And we need to be able to get there right away. And so one of the ways that I like to approach that is through the use of shell voicings on the guitar. But before we get into shell voicings, let's start to learn the names of the notes up the fingerboard, using the circle of fourths as a way to approach that topic. So I'm going to start. The circle of fourths is a circle like a clock. There are 12 little notches on the clock, just like on a regular timekeeping clock. And those represent the 12 half steps of the chromatic scale. And so at the top of the clock is the note C, and I'm going to start here on the sixth string, at the sixth string on the 8th fret with this note C. And then the guitar is tuned in fourths, so it makes sense that if I'm going up a fourth from this note C, it would be right there, and that's the note F. All right, so C to F. And if I keep going up another fourth, I get the note B flat. And if I go up another fourth from there, I get E flat. And then you know about the funny tuning between these two strings. So if I go from here to here, that's only a third. So at this point, I have to move over one to get that fourth. That would be A flat, and then up a fourth to D flat. But for our purposes, I want to keep the notes on the low two strings because we're going to use them to be roots of chords. And so here's my C, my F, and then instead of going up to the B flat to here, I'm going to go down 2 frets back to the 6th string for B flat, then to E flat, then down 2 more frets to A flat, then up a fourth to D flat, down 2 frets to G flat or F sharp, and then to B. We can call this F sharp or G flat, either one. G flat has 6 flats, F sharp has 6 sharps, so it's literally 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So that F sharp or B or G flat and then B. Then I like to start again at B here, just to keep the 6th string to 5th string orientation going. So here's B again at the 7th fret to E, then down 2 frets to A, and then D, down 2 frets to G, and then C, and then I'm going to end on the C where I started. So if I do it this way, it sort of has a sense of timing to it. So if I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now as I do that, I want to be saying these notes, or at least thinking them, so that you start to associate a note name with these places on the fingerboard. So you should be saying, I recommend doing it out loud for a while. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, B, E, A, D, G, C, C. Now that leaves out some notes up here, and it leaves out a couple of notes right down here, but This gets us right into the usable part of the fingerboard. And once you know those notes, it's easy to reason to these other ones. So that's a good starting point for learning what the notes are on the low 2 strings on the guitar.